I've seen this kind of work before. It belongs to the same savages that trained me, then destroyed my family. The precision, the carnage, the vile injustice. They say when plotting your revenge, you should dig 2 graves. One for your enemy, and one for yourself. I can tell you right now, 2 just ain't gonna be enough.
Hi, I'm Maxime Beland. I'm the creative director of Splinter Cell Conviction. You're watching Atomics.
Who killed my daughter? Splinter Cell Conviction.
Well, the game, I think the game is different. It was an intent from Ubisoft, right? At Ubisoft, we have an editorial team that basically gives the mandate to each team to make a game, right? And the mandate that we received for Conviction was really to refresh the game. So what we wanted to do was, we didn't want to change Splinter Cell to something different. We wanted to embrace what Splinter Cell was, but offer a different perspective on stealth, right? So I think all the core values of Splinter Cell are still in Conviction. They're just different, right? They're delivered to the player differently. So stealth is still there, light and shadow is still there, all the 3D navigation is still there, but the 3D navigation, for example, is a lot faster than before, right? And the whole idea behind that is that you are supposed to be playing Sam Fisher, the best elite agent in the world, right? So if you're the best, when you're hanging on the ledge, for example, you're fast on the ledge. If you're not good, you're slow. You know, you're hanging and you're slow if you're not good. But if you're the best, you need to be fast, you need to be fluid, you need to be dynamic. And that was the idea behind everything we've done. We really wanted the players to feel like they were playing the best agent in the world. We wanted them to feel badass, to feel like they were Sam Fisher. Well, I think it's stealth action is the genre, right? And I think what we've done is, instead of making a game that forced stealth on the player, what we've done is we've given the power to the player to decide when he's gonna play stealth and when he's gonna play action. So we don't force stealth on the player, but we don't force action either. So when you play, you're really in control of that. So if you want to be really stealth, take your time, stick to the shadows, and kill the guys slowly. You know, not kill everyone, leave a couple behind. You can. If you want to play a little bit more action, you can also. So I think it's interesting because I think it allows us to embrace who we are, and hopefully we're going to be able to reach more gamers that way. Well, I think the game is actually a lot easier when you play stealth in Conviction. I think it's very, yeah. I think it's more rewarding, and but I mean, it's easier, but you need to think, right? And I think the thinking is part of the core values of Splinter Cell. You know, it's not an action-only game. It's a tactical game. So I think what we've done with the Mark and Execute, for example, it's my favorite feature in the game. It's really like embracing the stealth and giving a tool to the player to play while he's stealth. So stealth is not only, you know, hugging a wall and waiting for a patrol to go by. Stealth is now, you know, being in position, being in the shadows and marking enemies, and then finding a prey and killing it, and then when you get into position and you execute. So to me, you're still stealth, but there's action in the stealth. You're less passive and you're more active. Well, what's super cool with Conviction is that the co-op part of the game is huge. We've got 6 hours of co-op story, right? And the story is actually the prequel to the single-player game. So it's the story about how the EMP bombs went from Russia to the United States. So that's the story in co-op. So you've got like 8 hours of single-player story, then you've got 6 hours of co-op story, and then we've got Deniable Ops. And Deniable Ops is 4 game modes, that are playable on the co-op maps and also on the other maps. And it's different missions that you can do. Like one of them is Hunter. And in Hunter mode, you need to you enter an area and there's 10 enemies and you need to kill the 10 enemies. But if you're detected, you get reinforcement, there's 10 more. So it's super interesting, the tension is high. There's also I go back and forth, but a mode I like a lot is infiltration mode. And it's the same thing. You need to eliminate 10 guys in an area, but if you're detected, you're game over. Right? And there's cameras and there's lasers, so it's super hardcore. You really need to take your time, you need to think, and I think it's fun because our mechanics are faster than before. You get more responsiveness to what you're doing. So I really like that game mode. Yeah. Well, actually, what we wanted to do was really simplify the controls. I don't know if you remember, but in the other Splinter Cell games, when you arrive to a door, you had this menu that would open up, and you'd have like 4 or 5 options, and then you'd cycle to it, right? And this, it really broke the pace of the game, and we didn't want to do that. We really wanted to simplify. So now, for example, when you get to a door, you press A, Sam opens the door. If you press B, Sam bashes the door, or if he's not moving, he kicks the door open. So you've got your normal opening and your more action opening. Other than that, it was the controls were a real challenge for us because of Mark and Execute mainly. Because Mark and Execute was a new feature, and it kind of required 2 buttons. Right? You have the mark button and you have the execute button. And that was really a challenge because, you've got reloading your weapon, you've got zooming, you've got taking cover, you've got crouch, you've got using your gadgets. I mean, at one point, you're out of buttons, right? So it was a real challenge. We did a lot of different play tests with different controls. And the one that we have now, I think it's different from any other game, so you can't just grab the controller and you know how to play. Like, for example, our reload is on the left stick, and I don't know any game that does that, but I mean, once you start playing, it feels super natural. See, so I think yes, our controls are different from other games, but I think we've managed to create a control system that ends up being very intuitive, and most importantly, it's very reactive, which is what was really important for us.